Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux today, where we're talking about the dangers of Ring with more information just keeps coming out and coming out and coming out and coming out and coming out. So it'll be kind of interesting. So we got our panel on today. Not sure if anyone else is going to jump on or not. I was hoping Quentin would jump on because he actually, I think they have one of these at one of their houses. Get his thoughts and perspectives. But anyway, and we have Tech is joining us now, another Patreon supporter. So you can jump on the streams if you are on Think Life Media Patreon, or I just got approval for YouTube memberships as well, which I will turn on as soon as I get the chance to read through everything. So that'll be yet another way. So anyway, greetings guys. How's it going there?
Oh,
Doing all right. It's a
great.
little chilly down here by Southern standards.
We're
All for
losing your
you.
audio again.
Uh,
We'll
audio.
figure it out. Oh well. Yeah, it's cold here too. It's pretty chilly. Oh, we got a puppy on the screen. We got a puppy. We got a puppy. Yeah, we got a puppy. All right,
The
Dan, how you
nine and a
doing?
half month old pit bull.
I'm doing okay.
All right. Oh, I
A little
got.
cold outside, rained
Yep.
all day.
Yeah, I got the proof copies in of the new book today. So nice and cool. We're going to be doing a walkthrough of this on my other channel tonight at 9 p.m. I'll post the link in there tonight. But I have the new book just came in. Got a couple copies. So if you want to see what the new book is about, then we have gone on. We have Echo going on. Can anyone else confirm Echo? Check,
Not
check.
here.
I don't know. Thomas Holt, are you the only one with Echo, or other people have Echo as well? I don't hear Echo. My guys don't hear Echo. Let me know if you guys hear Echo or not. Echo, Echo, Echo. Of course, of course.
Other
If you
other than
don't. Oh,
your
stop,
room
stop,
kind
stop,
of
stop,
kind of makes you sound boxy.
That shouldn't be too much. I also on Hex Chat over here, so we're chatting over here. Talk. All right, so we got some discussion over here going on about the Ring and Law and Order SVU going on over here. Ring, ring. Why don't you give me a call? You don't want the Ring to call you. Remember, you watch the Ring, and then you get a call, and then you die in 7 days. That's the way it's supposed to go. Do people not understand this? And you're putting these on your front door? I mean, really? Oh boy.
It's like
Oh
these
boy.
folks have never watched a bad Japanese horror movie.
I will get you. All right, Tech Habadashi, thank you for giving me the reminder about the IRC chat. Chad V, hello. It says Happy Friday all. So Chad is a time traveler. In case you guys were curious, Chad is a time traveler. Warner Clayson is on. Greetings, Bruce Scott. Hello there. D Ultima, how's it going there? Penguin Revolution. Greetings. And yes, the star of the show is. Can you still see him from this view or no? Now I think the guys on the chat can, or on the Google Hangouts can see the kitty, but he's not visible over otherwise. Anna Rita, how's it going there? Thomas Holt, hello there. Good morning. I found out my CT scan tomorrow. Awesome. Very good. Well, I hope it goes well for you. I will be praying for you, Anna Rita. All right. Who's cuter, the kitty or the puppy? All right. 9.5 months, huh? All right. Let's see. No echo. No echo. No echo. No echo. No echo. No echo. All right. Let's see. Heat wave in Illinois, 56 degrees. Oh Lord, that's a heat wave. All right. So, had you on two browsers. That's why you have Echo there, Thomas Holt. All right, that'll do it. All right. Winter in South Carolina, I guess. Yeah. Is that 56 down there? You're muted, by the way, Tech. By the way, just in
Yeah,
case.
I
Okay.
yeah I didn't want the camera going off every time my dog.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, our cold for us is like 50.
Mm,
So
yeah. So it's 56, and that's Jasmine,
we'll be
Derek Graham. Also, I'll confirm no echo, which is good. All right. Marty McFly is definitely from the future. Talking in languages I do not understand. So if any of the mods understand that, if it's bad, ban them. All right. Are we ready to get in here and chat about the Ring? All right. Where's my article view at? There we are. Let's go ahead and have a look. So, in this article here, we're starting out is from Ars Technica. It's the user's fault if a Ring camera violates your privacy, Amazon says. See, I have some serious issues about this. So, like, there's this whole YouTube COPPA thing going on right now. And I'm like thinking, the YouTube COPPA thing is like completely out of the hands of the creators. But Ring? This is a COPPA violation just waiting to happen, and we'll understand it a little bit by the end. So did you guys get a chance to read through this? Any initial thoughts before we dive in?
For me personally, it's not new information. My cousin actually got one of these, and I was like, man, I think you're crazy, but fair enough. It's his kids and his family.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything terribly new for me, but I'm always skeptical of these things.
Now, is he in one of the cities that has the deals with the police? Like, what I'm most interested in, how does this go down where people are asking for, the police will ask you for permission to use your information. How does that request go down? That's a thing I can't find information on.
That I don't know about that. He's in a more rural area, but his father used to be a police officer for the city, so that's legally speaking, I don't think that matters. But he's probably not the best person to use as a poster child for this kind of question.
Gotcha. Dan, any thoughts?
I'm anticipating these things actually take pictures of people at the door in video and sends it to a cloud somewhere. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah. So basically, you have this thing perpetually connected to your internet, which, by the way, there's another thing it's referenced in the article here where these were actually passing along the wireless credentials unencrypted. So it'd be very easy for somebody to get up and grab your wireless credentials.
I'm a strong
all of this data goes from here up into a cloud. So yes. Go ahead.
I am a strong advocate. If you're going to have cameras and surveillance equipment somewhere, you should have the device that stores that information in your possession.
Mm-hmm.
Do not do cloud storage on this stuff.
Yes and no. There is a advantage generally to having your data stored outside, and that is if a thief breaks in, they can't steal the evidence. So, that is a reason, but I don't think it should ever be in the hands dumping directly into somebody else's corporate servers. So like my security cameras, they actually upload the data onto one of my controlled servers via FTP. So if somebody comes in, they can search high and low. They are never finding the place where it is. They have to go and raid the server.
That's still much better than just sending it to a random company.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, there was somewhere in this Ars Technica article that it said the users or the consumer are still fully control of all of their video, and I'm like, I just don't feel that's true.
Yeah, once it hands into somebody else's server, it's kind of like the old classic example was Facebook, right? So Facebook has the ability to say, okay, I'm going to delete this post, but it never deletes the post. It just prevents you from seeing the post.
Right.
It prevents other people from seeing the post, but Facebook can still see the post. It's just flagged with a deleted. And so the information is still there. So it begs that same question. Is that information still, accessible? If it is, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to Ring, there's no actual local place that stores any of the video. It goes straight to Ring, and what happens with it. And the neighbor thing that's brought up in the Ars Technical article, that's always what scared me, because it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid about too many cameras in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesse Crypto, all my emails to you are still bouncing, Jesse Crypto. So if you want to look into that. I keep getting bounces every time I send you something. All right. What you were saying is interesting here. I think that's a good jumping off point. Is one of the things this article is saying is that, hey, the people have agreed to a privacy policy. In fact, here is from BuzzFeed of all places pointed this out. This is in the Ring's privacy policy. You hereby grant Ring and its licensees an unlimited, irrevocable, fully paid, and royalty-free perpetual worldwide right to reuse, distribute, store, delete, translate, copy, modify, display, sell, create derivative works from or otherwise exploit such standard content for any purpose and in any media formats in any media channels without compensation to you. Now, here is where we start to have some political gray area with this discussion. It is one thing if I have an app on my phone and I agree to a terms and conditions that reads this, but it's a radically different thing than when the thing is recording people who just come up to your door, like what happened on Halloween. So the day after Halloween, Amazon pushes out this big video. Oh, look at all these cute trick-or-treaters. Have any of these parents consented to having their children recorded and stored in their data? This is such a clear and open and blatant violation of COPA. It's baffling to me why the government is not immediately taking this down, and why any parent who has had their child recorded needs to go in and tell Amazon, you may not have that information. It must be permanently deleted from your servers now. So this is an interesting thing. Do you guys see these posts?
You're talking about the Mashable article?
Yeah, I'm on the Mashable article. I mean, it was reported many other places as well.
Yeah, it's I think that there's still a generation that's kind of between, like I'm technically a millennial, so I think that it's this kind of like the middle late Gen Xers who are just like, oh, it's fine because cameras don't go anywhere because cameras are at the convenience store, they're at Walmart or something like that. So they don't think about where do these things go. They think everything's still not on a tape but someplace local. So they don't think about it in the same way we on this channel would think about it. So I think that's the big issue, is that like, oh, it's my security camera. It's like, it's your camera, and then it's Ring's camera, really.
Yeah. How's it going there, Vince?
Hi, Vince.
Hi, everyone.
So Vince, your neighbor agrees to the terms and conditions of the Ring's policy, and then your children are walking down the street and get filmed and sends the data up to Amazon. Violation of their privacy or not? What does the UK law say about this? Or I'm sorry, EU. Where are you? AU law say about this?
I can be wherever you want me to be.
The Australian.
I'm probably underneath you guys at the moment. I actually don't know what the laws say, but I would assume that parental consent's probably required.
So, are these for sale in your area? How does the privacy go?
Yeah, I've seen them for sale around, but I just haven't been looking at them closely because I'm just not interested.
Yeah, maybe we should all just be put. Never mind. I'm not going to say that on a stream. That would be bad.
I wonder if there's any part of this that's if you're walking your dog, as they propose in the Ars Technica article, if you're in a known public place, so you should expect to be monitored or seen by somebody, therefore you don't have a right to privacy.
Yeah,
but here's something interesting. I'm watching this Ring video, and this kid's dancing in a skeleton at this one house, and the doorbell shot right across the street at the house across the street, monitoring that house.
Yeah.
So this goes into surveillance laws, though, because just on the point about being a public space, I would think that as soon as someone is at your front door, that becomes part of your private property. So there'd be some liability issues there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so different countries, too, deal with that differently. So here in the United States, we have no expectation of privacy in a public place. So, and this is what I was talking about. I had my landlord was over here today, and he was working on the front of the house here. And so I was explaining this to him. Like, if I had a Ring camera that's pointing out to the street, anybody who's walking by, fair game to record. Now, is that fair game to take the data, record it, and give it to this irrevocable, perpetual, worldwide right to use to a big corporation? I would argue no. But if we're talking about just walking down the street, get it quickly. But the way that my door is angled, if I had it where it only picks up when you knock on the door, that is not a public space, because you would have to go in and then roundabout. You're clearly on my property at that point in time. But EU has different laws. EU has laws that prevent you from recording in public space. There is no expectation of privacy in public. So in other words, in United States, there is no legal issue with recording anybody at a park. In EU, there is an issue recording somebody at a park. So it makes me wonder how these work in the EU versus other places. That's my understanding, unless something has changed that I am unaware of. But yeah, so... But then we have this issue of collecting data. It's one thing if I grant my use, but how can I grant somebody else the use? And I think that that's the one piece. Anybody want to comment on anything else in there?
This might be a little bit outside of the camera discussion we're having, but it seems to me last decade in the 80s, I had a 35 millimeter camera. And if you took a picture of some stranger on the street, or he happened to be in the picture, you could not use that picture for anything other than personal use.
Mm-hmm.
That was the law for picture taking. Somehow that got all screwed up over the last couple decades.
Yeah, it sort of still is that way, but we have more gray area. Like, I couldn't take a photo out of a person and use that in a commercial project. Or a commercial video or anything like that. But nothing would prevent me from taking the picture. In some places, there's something to prevent to be taking the picture. And I think that that's the difference.
There are laws here against taking photos, even in a public space, of children.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like, you can take pictures of your children, obviously, but other people's children is questionable.
Yes.
Okay.
That used to be the case here last decade.
Of course, here now marketed
country.
to all these church camps is a new service where they will take all of those photos, upload them, and using AI connects your children to the things. So you can get notifications when somebody at the camp takes a picture of your child 5 minutes ago.
If I wasn't desensitized by doing the work that I do, I would find that terrifying.
But I mean, if I were a normie, I'd be like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, these are going right to Facebook. Oh, like, oh, Lord. So, and then we do have another danger that none of these articles were talking about, but I found on this weird, obscure blog. Was this it? Which I wasn't as interested in this blog post as I was in some of the comments. Because one of the people says here, this is an excellent one. So this is the How Very Modern post here. I love this. Coaster Freak writes this. So this is actually just a couple days ago, about 10 days ago. We have a Ring doorbell and a security system. The stuff people post as suspicious on the Ring app and Nextdoor is next level crazy. Literally, anytime somebody comes to someone's door, even during the day, it's suspicious. Half the time, the homeowner is home when the doorbell rings, but doesn't answer it due to being terrified of the stranger at the door. Then they post the video saying, suspicious man lurking on my porch. Just a few days ago, a woman in my generally very quiet neighborhood posted a picture of a man on her front porch and said, this is why they have a security system armed at all times, even when they're home. Good Lord. Regarding Halloween, for Pete's sake, let the kids be kids. Somebody took all the candy? So what? People would let their kids go out on their own instead of having to tag along. Someone would be home to stingily hand out every tiny piece of candy to each kid. If you insist on making the rounds as a family, just turn the porch light off and don't leave candy out if you're so worried that the kid might take it all for himself. It's not like kids walk around with cartons of eggs to throw at any house not participating. I love that first part. It's like, you know, I had, I think it was Mormons one day and Jehovah's Witnesses the next day knocking on my door. I was like, oh, the doorbell rang. Gotta be quiet until they go away. There's crazy people on my porch. Maybe they legit need something. Like, you know, a couple months ago, my neighbor's like, hey, my car battery's dead. Can you help me out? Like, you know, I mean, what do we have become so isolated. That we're just like, oh my God, there's someone ringing my doorbell. That's what it's there for. What's a doorbell for if it's not to alert you that somebody's at your door? Like, look out the window, take some precautions. I mean, if it's a guy in a ski mask holding a shotgun, I advise you to not open your door. But, I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Here in South Carolina, our castle law extends to all of our property. So, I mean, we can handle that. But jokes aside, maybe not a joke. As somebody who's grown up, like, connected to the internet, as it was, like, nothing and now it's everywhere, we get very desensitized. I mean, or maybe perhaps oversensitized when we actually deal with people because we've lived behind a screen our whole life. And now we have people come into our door and we're like, oh crap, like just drop my boxes off at the door. I don't want to talk to anybody. But I think it's another thing, people just not having a camera at their front door to monitor it, just don't realize how many people will come to a door if you're in a busy area. So I think maybe that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Like, I'm thinking back to one of the places I lived not too long ago where I tell this story about, the Amazon delivery guy didn't even knock on the door. He just dropped several $100s of computer parts on the front door in a high traffic area. Well, if I had a ring on that door, I would literally see every single person coming and going into any one of the 12 apartments right next to me. I think that's a huge problem. And so I don't know. That's weird. But at the same time, it's not. I mean, depending on where you're at, there's not a whole lot of people knocking on a lot of people's doors that I know of. I don't know. Like I said, I've only had a few, and usually it's kids selling hoagies or something, Oh, there's suspicious children on my doorstep. They must be vandals, seeing if anyone's... No, they're just raising funds for their school whatevers, and sometimes I'll buy from them, and sometimes I won't, Oh, boy. I don't know.
I'm curious about this as somebody who doesn't and never has, like, lived in a residential building, like an apartment complex. If you have a ring and you can see all the other 12 people living on your hallway, because it's in a residential building and it's not a public place, how does that affect privacy rights? Because you're not in public, but you're also not in your home, but you're in the building where your home is located.
That is a good question that we don't have answers to, and hopefully the people in Congress are trying to talk about it, although I doubt they're talking about it successfully.
Them people in Congress don't even know what the internet is.
This is true.
True.
Like, what is this thing called the internet?
The internets.
The internets are dangerous. There's internets are where them people become all radicalized, and then they come hate people. We need to stop the internets. We're going to block you from finding bad stuff on the internet. We're going to force some software on your computer when you sell it. Ever hear of wiping the drive? I mean, really?
Nope.
Wow. Let's check in on the comments, and then we'll continue this fun discussion here. All right, let's see what we got here. Some discussion on this. A lot of numbers in the future would be useless, as the butterfly effect would change the numbers drawn as soon as the time travel entered our time. That's a bummer. So you're saying that the entire plot of Back to the Future 2 didn't work. Marty McFly, are you still here? Can you confirm? Anna Rita says the doorbell is an old-fashioned one where you have to push the button. I guess that is too much work for some people. That's right. Yeah, but you gotta use your phone app to see who's there. God forbid you go and look out the window. My mother bought one of those a few months ago. I scolded her nicely and made her return it. Put a couple hidden cameras for her to monitor who is coming to her door. Have dedicated also hidden storage. There you go. Yeah. All the security cameras run on their own Wi-Fi connections on a dedicated Wi-Fi router, which is then hardlined to the NAS on a separate R45 jack, not bridged to the WAN. That's a neat idea. See who's at the door? I look through the blinds. Easy. Yeah. Of course, I have plastic on my one window, so I can't see as easily who's out there, and I don't think I have a little peephole, so I have to open the door. I mean, it might be a masked guy there. I mean, maybe I should just put one of my handguns up there, open the door. What do you want?
Yeah, it's the emergency gun. I always have it right there, just in case.
Yep. Mask pointing to Facebook and then delete them right after. How long till Facebook can go before running out of data space?
I don't think they'll ever stop.
Okay. No, the parents don't have to consent. How I understand the law, as I have the right to record anyone who comes on my property, I actually have the right to record anything in public as well. Well, it's one thing if they're coming on your property. It's another thing if they're walking in front. I don't know, but how about them? But here's where we'll have a conflict. There's nothing that, like, I cannot consent to Amazon having the right to use your picture in advertising. That, I think, is where our distinction of the law is. It's one thing to record them in public. It's one thing to record them if they're on my front step. It's a completely different thing for using that picture for marketing purposes or advertising purposes or any other purpose, because the person, the object of that photo, has not consented. So if I were to find myself on some Amazon ad because I walked through a door, you better believe I'd be suing Amazon for everything I could. Because they didn't have my permission. And that is where Dan was talking about. It has to do with using people as models for photographs. That's what the law has to do with.
Well, it looks like you won't get no video from me. My camera just died.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
As long as you can talk to us, Dan. That's all we need. The
Yeah.
voice in our head.
Yeah. It's the voice.
It's software. It's not the camera.
Do the voices in my head bother you?
Only when they talk back.
Oh,
No, I
only when
think
they talk back. All right.
I think the
Ring
headphones
doorbells
felt
or-
my blood pressure and killed the camera.
There you go. What I hate about
Maybe
this Ring doorbell is when it records me when I walk by and perhaps use it against me in the future. Yep.
Jesse made an interesting point. You probably need a 5-year degree to understand the terms and conditions of these Ring services or devices.
Yeah.
It's probably true. Where I work, we do a lot of software management, and we have discussed having a EULA officer who only reads through the EULAs for the software that we deploy.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
That would
Robot
be an
gamers come from the
incredibly
land down
boring
under. What's that, Vince?
No, that would be an incredibly boring job.
Well, I
that
don't know.
drive you
Some
nuts?
people would probably like it. Find some lawyer guy. He'd probably love it. All right. So over on HexChat, Stallman says it correctly. Cloud computing is a modern word for doing your work on other people's computer. Jason says the laws will vary by state. Oh, Marty's over here. Our time traveler moved over here, I think. Only person who would have liked me to see me arrive is someone who tells me I love you. What? Person who would like me to see me arrive. Okay. Two Ring owners told me it records audio, which is strictly illegal in my state. How do you sidestep the law? Yeah, actually, we're going to have an article about that in the news tomorrow, where Uber is now going to be recording the pretty much any ride, audio, video recording of any ride without consent, which is completely illegal in my state. You know, our state is two-party consent. Everybody on that call needs to be alerted and agree to being recorded. I don't know how Uber's going to get around that one.
Yeah,
Probably buried in the terms of
I've
service.
never even considered that because we're a single-party consent state. So
Yeah. Talk, you might, God forbid, have to find you at home. Yeah. In Norway, if you have a camera up that also covers more than your property, you have to put up a sign stating the area is under camera surveillance, and you need to register the camera surveillance at the National Data Privacy Protection Agency every 3 years. That's neat. All right. First Amendment allows you to film in public, when in public there's no expectation of privacy. Yes, but there is an exception to this. You can record, but you cannot use that information in any public display or commercial display. There's a difference on that. So, like, I can't go into public, film a bunch of people, and then use that without their consent. Streets, those that are visible from it, are within public view. Therefore, no one has expectation of privacy. Like, how would I handle where we are now, where it's not a public street? It is a, it's not a public street. It's a private parking lot. That's interesting to think about. Of course, though, if I did have a Ring camera, I would record my neighbor's stalker coming up every time she walks by my front of my house again. "100% legal to use it." You're not in my country though, so I'm not sure if we would have the same laws on that. But I'd have to look into that. Anna Rita, so if I'm in front of this Ring doorbell and feel the need to scratch my butt, the video might end up on YouTube. So there goes my privacy. That's right. Hey, you know, my brother, like, never leave a camera in front of him. He will pick up your camera and take a picture of his crotch if you leave a camera laying around. So be careful of leaving a camera around by my brother.
Wow.
So I'm wondering, that might be a fun thing to do on Amazon. Just go find a Ring camera, bend over, and give it a good old scratch. Oh, that'd be fun.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
I'm not sure which one of these I want. Oh, Dangers. Oh, is there a Japanese horror film called The Dangers of the Ring? I did not know that. Awesome. If I had a shotgun, I wouldn't be asking. The interwebs. FTC, please find Amazon. Yeah. Problem with peepholes in apartments is you look through it, they know you are there. Oh, well. Alexa, cook my supper. Confirm. Hey, Alexa, order unicorn meat. Confirm.
Alexa, order pizza.
There you go. Alexa, ring my bell. Confirm.
Well, now that you have a Ring doorbell camera, it'll be, Alexa, who's at the door?
Yeah, there you go. Based upon the social media profiles and the facial recognition, it would happen to be Dan.
Yeah.
We need open borders, socialism, rent control, race reparations, late-term abortions, hate speech criminalization, police, gun rights only, identity politics, let China invade Taiwan, etc. AOC 2024. Yeah, right. That'll be about the end of the country. Oh, boy. Shadow Sly is literally confused here. Jesse Crypto sent you another email. All right, I will update your email, Jesse. Do you need a login? Do you want to jump in, Jesse? I can shoot you the login back if you want it. Let me know. All right. Did I have more things? Oh, yeah, we do have... oh, yeah, look at this. Look at this guy here. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. You guys can't see it. There you go. Here you go. You can see the little dancing skeleton. So I wonder if this kid is aware that he is on the internet right now, you know.
And now you can see the house directly across the street, too.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. Looks like 3 of them you can see.
Yeah, so if someone's walking a dog past your house, you get a camera view of one side of the guy, and if the people across the street have a Ring doorbell, they get the other side.
That's it. I'm going to start walking down the street in all black with a black ski mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the maps, the police finally released some maps about where they are located. So now I have no earthly idea why this United States map of where they are is in Spanish, but this is actually not a map of the United States. It's the map of the Estados Unidos. So this is where all of those are at. So if we should look into any city, it looks like you're safe in Dakota del Norte, Montana, Wyoming, Nevada, New Mexico. I'm sorry, Nuevo Mexico. And that's about it. Oh, West Virginia. Virginia Occidental. All right. You're safe there. Oh, and you're safe in Maine as well. So those are the states you're safe in completely. Other states, it's kind of hit or miss. I definitely avoid the populated areas of California. Bakersfield seems to be okay. Let's see. avoid Denver, Colorado area. Looks like both Lincoln and Omaha. So these are all of the places where the police have deals to get information. So, of course, several Pittsburgh area and some Harrisburg type areas here in Pennsylvania. A couple places down south. Lancaster, some Philly, and King of Prussia area. All right, so kind of see where you're at. So if you're up here, a lot up here in New York area. So a lot of those New York guys have it. And down south, you got North Carolina. There's some Raleigh, Greensboro, Columbia. Again, I have no idea why this map with the neighbors' law enforcement is in Spanish. I have no idea. But allegedly, this is the 600 or so places where police have deals. Any comments on that? Anybody?
I'm sorry, I came in late. Was this about the police obtaining this footage and being able to retain it indefinitely?
Okay, so, yeah, we didn't cut that part yet. So,
oh, okay.
The police have a deal with 600, at least 600 jurisdictions. This is the map we have right now. And within these, they're allowed to capture up to 12 hours at a time for up to 45 days after an event. So up to 45 days and they can capture 12 hours of footage. The problem is there is no regulation about what is done with the data, how long it is stored. So allegedly, the police could simply grab the data and then just hold it indefinitely. And that kind of has raised a red flag, because it's one thing if they say, all right, we have a little thing, so maybe giving police access to a portal to be able to view the data, but not actually give them access to it or require them to get rid of the access after a period of time. Either one of these would be an interesting case. But what's happening here, though, is... What's happening here, though, is that they can get this data. There's no regulation, and so they basically can grab it and then hold it indefinitely. That's kind of what the case is.
So if we're agreeing that these cameras are actually filming a private space because it's your own private property, where do warrants stand and the requirements for them?
Yeah. That's a good question.
I can understand if it was capturing a public space, so if your camera is facing the street. But if it's your own doorstep...
Yeah, so there is no warrant, but allegedly you as the customers, the Ring customer, has the ability to say yes or no to the police. So in other words, you can tell the police, no, you can't have the data. Now, they're saying here that this is under the volunteer data privacy section of the Ars Technica article. The minimum region for requesting footage is 0.025 miles. Now, does anybody know off the top how far 0.025 miles is? That is 125 feet.
I was about to say, it's got to be less than 200 feet.
Which, if you're in an apartment complex, this could be any one of, 20 people. Residential street, they got you narrowed down to one or two houses. And if they're driving down the street, you can very clearly see who has a Ring and who doesn't. We're requesting data. They don't say it. I bet it was this guy here. Let's go get a warrant for this guy. We think that he might know something suspicious. So that's the case. Now, and I've said this before, if I had cameras, and I, when I had my house out west, I actually did have security cameras on the front porch. If the police came up, knocked on my door and says, hey, there was a crime out here that somebody could have walked by your front porch, could we look at your footage? I would have zero problem saying, yeah, come on in, let's have a look. No problem. But it's just kind of backdoor stuff that makes me a little bit more resentful of it. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I think maybe I just had this kind of a brainstorm of a question. How much can you make the legal argument that it's your data if the recording is going to someone else? So if I have a secret that only I know, and then here on this in our live stream, and we're chatting, and I announce the secret, is it still my data at that point if I'm giving it away to everyone, even if I only shared it with just one of the individuals here on the video? was it still then my data? Would it now be Dan's data if Dan knew the secret too?
Yeah, that raises that third-party doctrine idea, right? So it's the way the government often gets around in the United States gets around this Fourth Amendment right to privacy type stuff. Right to privacy is right to privacy from the government, not right to privacy from a company. A company can come in and search through your garbage can all they want. A government agent could not without a warrant. But if the government agent just hires a third-party company, the third-party company can go grab the data, and then they can work out a deal to work with the private company to get it. It's third-party doctrine. So that's kind of what you're describing. So there's really technically nothing. It's just that Ring's current privacy policies basically says, yeah, you kind of control your data. But at the same time, how long is it going to be before they just flip the switch off and, yeah, the data belongs to us anyway, so we're going to do with it what we want and we'll allow the police to have it. I see that coming down the pipeline probably quicker than anybody would think.
Yeah, no kidding. What's to stop a prosecuting attorney going to see the judge to get the video anyways? You get a court order to extract the video of what they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good thing. A crime happened right in front of your house. We think that you have data. We requested the data. You didn't give it. Well, at least there's a court order. Again, if this were on my server, I would have no problem if a police officer comes up and asks me nicely. But if they're asking through some back-end portal deal with some back-end system, I'm a little more leery about that. And this is, I don't know. Yeah.
One of my good friends and I, we have a strong disagreement about the future, about whether or not privacy is a legal right in the future.
What do you think? Do you think it will be or will not be?
I don't know if it will be, but I want it to be. But I with the amount of, hang on a second.
Oh, okay. Well, he's on the way back. Let me say, 2 Ring owners told me it records audio. Okay. Can't be expected to actually walk into the door. People wanting to talk to you might actually find it. Oh, my screensaver kicked on. Turn that off. All right, go. Norway, okay, I think we already read that. Any cameras on the map outside the U.S.? No, because that map was just for what's going on in the, just what was going on inside the U.S. All right, go ahead. Yep, you're back.
What? I just lost my. Oh, about whether or not it's going to be a right. Yeah. I think it. I don't know. I mean, it comes down to that. What makes you you? What makes you an individual? Is your like your DNA, for example? Is that your data? How private do you get with privacy? Mm-hmm. So I think that, I mean, it's kind of too late for me because I've worked for the federal government, so the FBI's already got all my stuff. But it's for everyone else though, is where does it start and where does it end? And he doesn't think it's going to matter. He's like, in the future, your privacy is just going to go away, and it's going to be normal for everybody not to have privacy. So I've always made the joke that George Orwell got it wrong in 1984 because we would beg to have cameras watching us.
Well, in 1984, though, everybody knows that there's always cameras watching, and so it forces it. And the same studies have demonstrated that that's exactly the way we behave. When we start to see, our data like this, we start to see that cameras are everywhere, and somebody could be watching at any given point in time. At that point in time, we start behaving already like we're constantly being watched and surveilled. So I think it's very sad that, and I hope privacy endures, but I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure if it's going to.
With 1984, though, it does reflect that as human beings, we do have a desire and a need to have a private life and a public face. And Correct. So the question is, will governments and corporations actually give us that option in the first place in the future?
Yeah. That's a good question.
And then how much are we willing to push back and fight for that?
Mm-hmm. And honestly, we should be pushing back and fighting for it a lot more than we are, because right now we are giving it all up. Now, it's not in 1984, it's a brave new world. We're giving it up because we want to. We're not giving it up because we have this, we have this desire to be entertained. We have this desire to, to make life easy and more convenient. We're not looking at the potential dangers. And once we lose it, it's going to be infinitely harder to regain it. It will take a revolution to regain it. And even then, it will probably not happen as well.
Yeah, and this seems to be something the younger generation don't care as much about as us cranky old men.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing, though, because there is a fair degree of pushback against things like Facebook already, and some of the privacy issues that they've had. Well, some, I say, all of the privacy issues that they've had. And so you're seeing some of that reflected now, and people are pushing back a little, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah. We do need that pushback, because ultimately, if there was pushback to it, then the companies would know they can't go too far. But as long as we're willing to put this thing on our door and then record everything and give them this perpetual license to use that data for anything and everything and to hold it indefinitely, as long as we're doing that, they recognize that they're going to keep on going further. They're going to keep going further, and eventually they need to stop.
With governments, you'd hope that they have the best interests of their constituents at heart, but with corporations, you've got to hit them where it hurts, which is the bottom line.
Yeah. And
well, that's the problem, is that our constituents aren't really our constituents. They're constituents of the corporations.
Whoever can pay the biggest donation.
There's a certain amount of money that our congressmen and our senators are supposed to earn every year and have. But these guys are way over in millionaire land. Where'd they get it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny how someone can enter the office of the President of the United States with almost nothing and leave extremely wealthy.
Yeah,
That's happened a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Happened a few times. So yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy to see what's going on out there. So
I liked Anna Rita's comment near the end here. I don't know if we're doing comments or not.
Yeah, go for it.
She said, "I just hope that the future will have privacy. Otherwise, all is lost." Yeah. My retort is, as an individual, all is lost. I mean, we could be like the Borg, who still technically exist somewhere in there.
Yeah, but we're a cog, and that's the thing. We don't want to be a cog. This is why I'm happy not leasing my phone, and I'm happy with my $100 phone. In fact, I am probably at the end of this, probably at the end of December, going to be leaving Verizon behind. I've been a Verizon customer for 19 years. And I'll talk to their retention department, and I'll tell them exactly why I'm leaving. And it's like, and they'll probably try and bribe me with like half off a new iPhone or something to stay. It's like, I don't want a new iPhone. It's like, I have zero desire for a new iPhone. I have zero desire for a new Samsung phone. I love my old phone with my custom ROM that I completely control,
I was a DirecTV customer for 19 years. Then AT&T bought them out. And then my receiver took a dump and wouldn't work anymore. So I made the call because I don't like AT&T. They kept pushing me for paperless billing and everything else. I called them up and asked them, how can I return this receiver to you? I'm done with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm done with them.
I don't blame you. I have a great deal of hatred for AT&T myself.
Yeah.
American thugs and thieves.
Yeah. So, all right, Shadow Slide. Let's sum this up here for Shadow Slide. So basically what I'm hearing is that Ring is violating the privacy laws. The problem is it is walking the very edge line of every privacy law. So is it violating privacy laws? I don't know. The problem is, like, it is legal to record in public, but I have a big deal with them collecting data, using it for public posts, like pushing people's children's images out on social media posts, and then saying, but the Ring owner gave us permission. Well, the Ring owner gave us permission for what? Their pictures, maybe. They can't give permission to use somebody as advertising that had nothing to do with the device, that simply walked down a public square. So this is why there are discussions in Congress about this, but this is a very, very tricky argument. I mean, technically, no, it doesn't violate a lot of laws, but it's on those very edge of nearly every law. And that's the scary part. Yeah. Penguin Revolution, as long as people are putting microphones that record to a cloud, that proves people will let companies go too far. So actually, I saw an article today. I'm not sure if I put it in my news or not, but it's was it Sonos, I think, bought another one of these startup speakers that is a privacy-focused speaker. So it does all of the processing on the device, not on the cloud. What do you guys think of that? Yes, no, maybe so?
I mean, what?
I think that I'm guessing that they're buying it so they can kill it.
That's my thought.
That's kind of what I had
Yeah.
stuck in my head too.
Yeah. If it was Microsoft or Google or Amazon, I absolutely would say to kill it. Sonos, I don't know. But I don't know much about Sonos anyway, so I don't know.
I've always thought of Sonos as just a speaker company, so I haven't really ever considered that.
Yeah. So, interesting.
I mean, to bring it back to maybe Linux, there was an announcement that Deepin was trying to make a voice AI, and there was a big outcry about whether that was going to be a big privacy issue as well. But wouldn't it be great if there was some sort of a voice assistant that was right off your computer and did all the processing on your computer? I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Mm-hmm.
It's particularly for people who need the accessibility options.
Yeah. There is actually an open source smart speaker application you can use for Raspberry Pi. It's called Mycroft, which I want to look into playing with it a little bit. I'd love to see if I can get it running or not. That'd be a neat little project.
I've seen Mycroft. The little Mycroft device was really cute when it first came out.
Yeah, you can grab the binaries for it. So Shadow says Mint is cheaper, but their total bandwidth is less. Get 5 down at my place, which is plenty for a phone. On my tests on Mint Mobile, I'm getting down as much as 30 Mbps down and about 10 up, 5 or 10 up. So far, as I've been testing Mint Mobile, I am getting, it's infinitely better than Verizon everywhere I've tested it. Phone is
Who's Mint Mobile supported by?
It's T-Mobile.
Oh, T-Mobile don't work that great here.
Yeah. And they're getting better. And I'll tell you right now, my phone keeps dropping to 3G if it works at all anymore on Verizon. And I'm sick of it. It could be a SIM card, but it cost me $5 to try a new SIM card. Give me a SIM card for free. You want to keep my business? Give me a SIM card for free. Otherwise, I'll switch to this other company now and pay nothing for it. Yeah. What phone is it? I use a Nexus 5X. Is what I use. The Salmon. Always tell providers, if you can't send me a bill, then I can't pay it. I'm not paying you extra to send me a paper bill. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do to me. They wanted me to go paperless, and they wanted to just pluck the money out of my checking account.
Yeah. My friend does that. He's young yet, but he's like, oh, I pay $10 less on AT&T because I have it on direct billing. Like, I hope it doesn't bite you sometime,
Yeah, I'll never auto draft ever again. I did that one time when I was younger and got burned.
Yeah.
So there's no auto drafting. I don't save my credit cards or any PayPal information, nothing on any website anywhere.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, Comcast tries to do that, and then of course they try and keep on adding that $10 a month on your bill, and if you don't contest it within a few months, you can't do anything about it. It's like, and the fact is, once you start putting stuff on auto drafts, you stop looking at the payments, you stop looking at the statements, you're just on autopilot. That's what they want. They want us to be cogs in a wheel on autopilot. Entertainment. Put it on the cart. Not paying attention to nothing, man. That's what they want. So don't do it. Resist. # resist.
Yeah, it's the bread and circuses thing, right? Keep them,
And then you wind up without then you wind up with no money to pay your rent or your house payment.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, Anna Rita, don't you realize that we don't have enough data already? We need to collect the data of all the Martians too.
Yeah, well, I can't speak for the Martians because that's a different alien race, but our race, we have nothing to do with any of this stuff. There's like some intergalactic agreements that the upper ups of the governments have, and we have refused to participate because they want too much data from us. We're like, no, we're not giving the secrets of our technology, our lizard people technology, to the government.
Lizard people technology.
Yeah, you're more advanced. You use subspace communication.
Yeah. I mean, we
we'll collect that. We'll collect that too.
Sure will.
Yeah, so Selby on Hex Chat says, I like how Donald Trump got elected. He used his own money. Sure, some donated, but he didn't need anybody's donations, and hence he owed nothing to any lobbyist groups, which is, I can say, I think we need to have more government that works that way. We need to ban lobbyist groups.
Agreed.
Work, I have to use 3G to get anything, but the carrier likely tried them all between us, yeah.
Yeah, the cell phone thing's real tough. My dad had a really, really ancient Verizon flip phone because he had been using a phone that his company provided for years. And when they went under, he lost his job, so he went back to his old ancient phone. And Verizon people at the store were like, "What? No, man, you're gonna have to get a new phone." So it was it's definitely a thing.
Right now, if you call advanced customer support, you can still get the old phones activated until December 31st.
No, I switched him over to T-Mobile with me and gave him one of my old phones and said, "All right,
a month and a week."
Anything.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do here soon is I'm actually going to take my two phones. I'm going to swap the SIM cards between the two, and see if make sure that it's not my phone that's causing the biggest problem. Because I spent a little bit of time researching to it. Is the SIM card attached to the IME number on Verizon, and it's not. So I should just be able to take out SIM cards and swap them. Be interesting to see. All right. Any other final comments on this before we wrap up for this evening?
Don't DNA test.
Don't DNA test.
Yeah.
There you go. It's in our Donna.
Be careful with your doorbell. It might bring more than you had bargained for.
Yeah.
Quick question. So if you don't consent to sending Ring that data, does that mean you can't use their app?
I don't know. I think it's a different thing I don't think you can have the ability to not send Ring the data. It just has to do with, will you share that data with law enforcement? I think that's the way I understand it.
So you have no choice but to send them the data.
I think you have to send the data to Ring because the thing really won't work otherwise, to my understanding. I could be wrong.
You could imagine all the employees are sitting there looking at everybody's doorbell data.
Oh, they probably are. Yeah.
Hey, look at that Amazon guy, man. He did a drop and dash.
That's right.
A ton of that data is sent unencrypted. I know you said the SSID stuff and the Wi-Fi passwords are sent in the clear, but I want to say there's a fair bit of it that actually transmitted unencrypted. And I don't know why. I assume it's because they don't want to put in the extra processing overhead, which is not much for encrypting it.
Yeah.
I assume.
DNA is mine and mine only for not sharing. All right. Any other final thoughts? Yes, my final thought is in 1 hour, I will be doing a video on the new book. We'll read some excerpts of the new book, spend some time over there. So that is over here. It's Hezekiah's Prayer. You can get it right now on Amazon. You can get the ebooks anywhere you get ebooks, audiobooks everywhere right now except Audible. Those will be rolling out, and paperbacks will be rolling out to all of the other distribution places probably within about a week or two. I'm still waiting for the preview copies of those. I got the Amazon ones in, so those are good to go. So 1 hour, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be talking about that book. So if you want to hear more about that, hear some excerpts and some of the logic and what went into it and the future plans for that series, you can join me over on that channel, and the link is in the chat there. So with that, I think we will wrap this one up. Of course, I think there's a cat right there. Hey, cat. Is there a cat right here? Oh, there is a
Kitty,
cat.
kitty, kitty.
We got to feed the kitty cat. Come here, kitty cat. Come on. Come on. Don't circle the chair. Jump on the chair. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. There you go. We got a kitty.
He's thinking about the
Feed the beast.
after-show treadmill.
Anna
Yeah.
Rita's asking if that's the science fiction book. I doubt it.
No, this is not the science fiction book. Science fiction book is still in...
Fair enough. Anything on the floor is fair game, right? That's how it is with my dog.
Kitty, that's not nice. It's not nice to moon everybody. All right. No, that is not the science fiction book. Once again, CJ's in the house. Don't moon us. That's right. You like to moon people, don't you? You like to moon people. Huh? He's like, yeah, buddy. Yeah. No audio. There should be my audio on the camera view. There should be. Oh, I don't have audio on that camera view either. My apologies. Oh, that's right. They could hear you. They couldn't hear me. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, this scene collection is a little odd. It's so that you don't hear me when I'm setting things up, and I usually mute the desktop audio. I forgot I took my camera off, but I had yours on. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and we will catch you tomorrow for the weekly news roundup.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night or day.